Candidates Tournament 2013. Magnus Carlsen fighting for the right to play against the current world champion Viswanathan Anand. Here are the final standings of the event. Magnus Carlsen first, Kramnik second with the same score, Peter Svidler, Levon Aronyan, Boris Gelfand, Alexander Grishuk, Vasily Ivanchuk and Timur Ajabov. Carlsen and Kramnik tied at the top with 8.5 points, but Carlsen won the tournament thanks to the number of wins. Carlsen had 5 wins, Kramnik 4. This gives Magnus Carlsen the right to challenge the current world champion Viswanathan Anand later in this year. So this was round 10, played between Carlsen and Boris Gelfand in London. Magnus opens with e4. Boris replies c5, Sicilian defense. Knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop b5. Nejmadinov Rosolimo attack. e6, preparing to strike in the center. Castles kingside, knight g7. Magnus centralized the rook, and a6 kicking the bishop. And Boris strike in the center with d5. E takes d5, knight takes d5, and d4, opening the center. Here Boris played knight f6. Probably he expected something like d takes c5, queen exchange, and bishop recapture, which give him a chance to draw the game with the black pieces. But Magnus played bishop e3. Okay, Boris captures, the knight recapture, and bishop d7. Okay, Magnus played c4, preventing the knight to jump on this square, and Boris should be very careful in this position, because for example, if he plays e5, immediately knight takes c6, bishop takes c6, queen takes queen, rook takes, and after bishop b6, the rook moves somewhere, and after the check, black lose a pawn. So in this position Boris played knight takes knight, and Magnus recapture with the bishop. Seems like Boris too slow. Bishop b6, knight c3, and bishop e7 preparing to castle kingside. a3 preventing the bishop coming to b4, and a5. Queen d3 and castles. The position is equal, with a slight advantage for white. Now look how Magnus build the pressure. Rook a d1, queen c7, bishop e5, queen b6, queen g3, and now the knight can't remaneuver because checkmate. The rooks can't come here because you lose the exchange. Queen can't take pawn because knight d5, and what to do? The queen must protect the bishop, but then knight f6 check, and you can't take the knight because you lose the queen, so king h8, and white up a piece. So Boris played rook d8, white take the rook, and queen take the rook. But after rook d1, Boris played queen b6, which gives white an initiative. Instead, black should play queen f8 and the game continue. But after queen b6, Magnus finds the best moves. Bishop d4, queen b3, rook d3 the best move, queen c2, b4 the best move, a takes b4 and recapture, knight h5. Boris also playing the best moves. But look at this. Queen e5. Magnus calculated everything. Bishop f6, the best move. Queen takes knight. Bishop takes bishop. Rook takes bishop. Queen takes knight. And now Magnus plays queen a5. You can't take both the rook and the queen, because it leads to checkmate. Rook f8, the best move. Queen b6, the best move. e5. Rook d1, g6, anti-back rank move, b5, bishop e4, queen f6, h5, h4, bishop f5, rook d5, queen c1, queen takes e5, bishop e6, rook d4, Boris playing down a pawn, rook a8, queen e2, king h7, rook d1, and queen c3. And after queen e4, Boris should play rook a7, because it's the only move that still holds somehow with an advantage for white. but it's hold. But Boris played rook a1, which is a big blunder. Probably here Magnus calculated everything till the end and played rook takes rook. And after queen takes rook, c5, queen c3, queen takes b7. Basically Magnus allows Boris to win the bishop. Queen e1, b6, bishop c4, queen f3, queen check, king h2, and queen b1. But after b7, queen b5, Magnus played c6, and after bishop d5, gently queen g3. And Boris resigns, because if you take the pawn and you queen, that's how Magnus played when he was young.